think we may be live.
I think so.
It's always an awkward start for me. I'm always trying to juggle the StreamYard window with the live window in YouTube, and there's a lag there, and I always, forget to mute the microphone and the YouTube one. There's always some technical problem when when I try to do lives. I don't do them often enough to get practice, I don't think.
Yeah, and I can't do pre-recorded because I freeze up like I'm some sort of actress or something.
Oh, you mean personally freeze up or technically freeze up?
Personally freeze up. I'm like, but when I'm live, I can be live. Hi, Karen. Karen's in the house.
I'm going to throw a little banner on here so people see it for later and start thinking about questions. Okay. So I first of all, for people that are watching this back or may, I apologize that I scheduled this when I did, because I didn't realize so many other people would be going live at the same time. And if that's your case and you feel offended, I'm really sorry. I didn't know, or I wouldn't have done it at this time. But scheduling is always tricky with so many people around the world and so many channels now. And we're going to just wait and see if anybody trickles in. And I might as well start asking you things, because I think I discovered your channel completely by accident. Somebody sent me a little notice saying, "Oh, Robin, did you know Jane the Seeker is using your open face tarot cards in her streams?" I thought, oh my God, somebody actually bought it and is finding it usable. I have to check this out. And then I saw you and Gerald on there, and so I subscribed. I didn't know about you before then, so I want to hear all about you and when your channel started and how the name came about and whatever else you want to tell me there. And welcome, Karen, Grace, and Dippity Doo. Take it away.
All of you. What was it again? Okay, what do I do? Who am I? How did I get my name?
How'd you get your channel name, and how long have you had your channel, and what made you start it? There's so many questions.
Oh, that's true. Oh, look at, there's Tarot Stash.
Hey, Gerald.
Thank you for lurking. Before I was Jane the Seeker, I was something else. And for the life of me, I can't remember what that was. But then I have always been a seeker. It just goes with my nature. I'm a Pisces. Not to throw a bunch of astrology out there for people who are like, what, astrology? I don't care. But it's just in my nature to be very curious about things. And I'm a life 5. Isn't the Hierophant 5?
Yes.
Yeah. So I really relate to those energies. And so I just kind of became Jane the Seeker Tarot and decided I've been reading for a lot of years, many, many years, like 40 years. But I never actually sat down and studied it. I've always read on intuition. I knew basic meanings. I have studied numerology and astrology, not retained an ounce of it, but I did study it. Same with, sign language, American Sign Language. So anyway.
How long have you had your channel?
I started it in December. It'll be a year in December. So I'm brand new. I'm a newbie.
Oh. Now, did somebody else inspire you to do that? Anybody you talked to, or someone with a different channel that you'd been watching or anything?
everybody, I have to say, everybody, there was so many people that inspired me that I was watching at the time. And since I have started my channel, I've met so many more people. You know, it's like lighting a match, and then everybody starts lighting matches, and then you meet all these new and wonderful people. And so it just, it's really been, you know, the pandemic made us all kind of go in, right? Just like a hermit, so that we could then shine our light. So it was time to shine. And I think a lot of us are here and we're trying to shine our lights.
Yeah. It's funny because so many people said that the pandemic was very hard on them. And I'm one of the oddballs where it's been the best time of my life. Not for other people, but for me. I'm sort of a social outcast or a socially awkward person. I have trouble face to face. But this really opened up my social life online. And it just is, I'm so glad it was invented for us, for people like us to use and expand our connections with other people. And it's fun meeting people all around the world that you normally wouldn't have the chance or opportunity to meet anyway.
Yeah, and it healed the planet. It gave the planet a little bit of time where it actually, the air got clean, and you know, there was some healing there. So, but you know, so it was really hard for some people, but it was really good for some things. So without darkness, you can't have light, and vice versa, and all that jazz.
I think you may be more familiar with the people in the chat than I am, because the only one I recognize is Gerald, and I don't really know the other people, but I'm happy to have them here and welcome. Oh, Jackie just came in. I do know Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
And so I just want to encourage, well, wrong way around. I was going to say I want to encourage anybody in the chat that's not subscribed to your channel to please do so. But it's more like, if you're only here for the first time and you know Jane and you don't know me, please subscribe to me. And I don't really know how to put a link into the chat for subscribing. Maybe Gerald or Jackie or somebody can do that. Otherwise, I will post a link to your channel in the description after we're done. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What?
Did you see that Karen Johnson does have a question?
I did, and I don't know how to tag that for later.
All you need to do is the little star up in the corner by her, in the, you know, there you go.
Okay, got it.
So then you'll have 2 columns now.
Okay.
Just so be careful of that. So anyways, okay, got your question started at least.
So yeah, that's great. I mean, I learn things every time somebody new has some technical thing I don't know and helps me out. We all help each other in some way. So I'm going to tell you a little bit. This is repetitive for people that have seen me. They've probably heard me tell it a million times, but I started off my channel about a little more than 3 years ago. And it started out because I had maybe half a dozen tarot decks, and I thought, gee, I'm kind of in the mood for some fresh new cards and images, and I don't know what to shop for. And I know there are shops near me and I can get stuff online, but they don't show you all the cards, so I don't know what I'm getting. And I thought, well, I wonder if there's some place I can see all the cards before I buy them. And then I discovered there's a whole world of tarot tube where they do flip throughs. And so I started watching those, and I thought, oh, well, that's all that's important to me, is to see cards. And then when I get decks that I feel passionate about, to be able to share them with others by doing my flip through. So I thought, I'm going to be a shopper's guide, you know, that will be my channel. But then as I kept going, I realized it's not just showing the cards, but some people like to share their points of view on the cards. And so I fell in love with certain channels, like Simon at the Hermit's Cave. I really liked his demeanor about how he shared cards. And I thought, oh, well, I didn't realize sort of that, this was a thing, that you'd have this kind of interaction with community. So I kind of started doing that. And that's mostly what I do. And I do sometimes do other things, but don't do readings so much, but I am intrigued by the idea. And I love particularly sharing, growing, and learning when it comes to cards, because even if you're a seasoned tarot reader, you can always learn something new. And I like it when I hold up a card or we look at a card and I see something different than you see, and it adds to my learning. So I love that kind of expansion of ideas and perceptions, perspectives. So I guess that sort of sums me up.
Because you go, and it's, I'm working on this, and I'm working on this, and this is the Eight of Pentacles, the mastery card, where you're sitting there working on something and working on something and working on something, and then you're like, and working on something that I love. And on the bottom of the deck is the Lovers. It's a very sexually explicit one, but the Lovers that you were saying. So yeah,
I'm just curious. Earlier you pointed out number 5, the Hierophant, and I was curious as to how you read the Hierophant. Or I know it's sort of all context, but still, just in general, what are your views on the Hierophant? Like, do you read it as a teacher or a learner, or some people say community? I mean, it has different aspects to it. And I wondered if it related in a specific way for you.
Well, my feeling from it is, I always say obey this. It's like about obeying the spiritual laws. And if you really boil down any kind of spiritual law, the simplest thing is ask and you are and you shall receive. Now, I am not a Christian, but I know that thoughts become things, and even if if there's energy.
Yeah.
So so in the 5, I relate to it as what we are connected to source energy, to whatever it is that's around you, so I don't know what you are. What is your
I'm kind of similar to what you just said. I mean, I'm sort of like where science meets spirituality, or I don't know if that's considered metaphysics or what it is. Mostly, some people get freaked out about the woo-woo nature of tarot. And for those people, I just say, I look at images on cards and tell you what I see there. And I'm not claiming to be accurate or predict anything for anybody. For me, it's more kind of a spiritual guidance. It's not like what's going to happen, but it might be, this is what the cards are telling me, might be a way to react to your situation, or might be the best way to move forward with this, so it's sort of a guidepost, like, look, a GPS system or a roadmap for the go, rather, or the way to be, or to counteract something, rather than telling you, honey, on the 14th such and such is going to happen. I don't really do that, but
right. And then also you have to realize, you have to always also think, if I just take the Hierophant, or Hierophant, whatever you call it, alone, it means one thing, but if it's depending on how it's aspected, though, too, it can mean quite different things too.
And the context and the particular time that you happen to think about it, because sometimes you see something different in a card than the next time you look at the same card. Maybe not so much in my deck because it's so minimalistic, but it can happen. And they say that everything is energy, and even when you think of something, it's like somehow radiates from your body in an energy wave that goes out there, mixing with everybody else's energy. So that feeds right into what you were just talking about. But I want to jump in here and say hi to people that have just popped in late, because I see a few. I see V. Kestrel. I feel like the lady on Ding Dong School or No Romper Room that was looking for
I see Miss Tarot D.
yeah, yeah, I see you out there. Oh, this is just in time for Miss Tarot D, because she often uses the very large
Yes,
mag.
she does, and would not make fun of you, Miss Tarot D. That it's in no way, shape, or form. We're totally romper room.
No,
I love you, Miss Tarot D.
yeah, I love the prop, and even if you didn't have to use it, I love it. I love the choice. So V. Kestrel, hello, Miss Tarot D, and did I miss anybody else? I think that might be it. I'm really excited. I don't know if you know that Mrs. Tarot D is joining Gerald tomorrow afternoon.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Going to be Tarot Sachet and Miss Tarot D for the first time. So everybody tune in. Be sure to tune in.
I wouldn't miss it for a Colts Chiefs game. I'm talking football, and that's I'm trying to find. Well, here I love the Hierophant in the Spacious Tarot.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Spacious Tarot because there's no people in it.
Can you hold that up again? See, now I'm trying to look visually in terms of, I've been reading stones lately. We talked about this before we went live. I cast stones and I see how they relate to one another in their positioning. So if I look at that, I'm not only reading the card, but I'm reading stones. And for me, there's a cluster of stones to the left side, and they're paying attention to this taller one on the right side that's a little bit apart from them. And there's like this light in between, this sort of spirit of enlightenment that's being conveyed from the large stone to the other group of stones. So that's that big stone is the Hierophant for me on that card.
Yeah, and then you've got the sliver of intuition up here, because the moon to me is always intuition. So in this, you've got it doesn't need to be a sliver of a moon, but there's some moon there.
You know what I always call those kind of moons? God's fingernail clipping. Because it looks to me like a little fingernail clipping or a puncture in a black polyethylene bag in the sky.
You know what I'm looking for, though, and I know we're going to be doing things, and I probably shouldn't do this because we don't have long. I was looking for this because we were talking about. I love this card too. I think of when you think of the Hierophant too. I think of this Justice card, how you can drop a pebble. Let's say we drop a rock, that right in the middle of the water, and it all ripples out. And this is all the karma. And then some of us are in here closer to source energy, and some of us are out here, but we're all in this thing together, no matter where you are.
It's a great visual representation of a pebble in a pond and energy radiating outwards. It's
the Justice card.
We can't generally see energy, but we can there, and we can when we drop a pebble in water and see what energy does in sound waves, light waves. It's all related, I think.
Quantum physics.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Jackie has put the link for Gerald and
good.
Jackie did for the thing tomorrow. I forget. I think it's at 4 p.m. Eastern, but I'm not sure. So double check when you look at that link.
Well, I'm going to start watching at 2 o'clock just so I don't miss it. I'll nap.
It's on Gerald's channel, which is Tarot Stash.
Of the Stash.
Should we start with the questions, or do we want to talk any more about you? Oh, I love your stash. Do we want to talk any more about our practices? I don't know if it's a practice or not for me. I guess it is. I don't think I call it a practice, but what I do, I look at cards, and I think it's because I'm an artist and an art creator and art appreciator, and even in museums and things. I used to hate it when I'd go to museums and I'd see some know-it-all doing walking tours and telling visitors what they were supposed to see in the art and what the artist meant. So if anyone's going to tell me what you meant, it should be the artist themselves, not somebody who thinks they know from studying. And anyway, so I started like looking at pictures and figuring them out myself. What the images communicated to me, it's like it's right down to communication between an artist and the viewer. And I think even Marcel Duchamp somewhere said that it's a piece of art is 50% the artist and 50% the viewer. And I think that's really true. Maybe not in those exact percentages, but there's a relationship there between what the artist tries to convey and what is conveyed and seen by the person viewing the art. So okay, I was trying to see if there were any comments that I should address back there, but I don't see. But now, how do I get back to starred? Oh, I see.
Well, see, it's in another thing, and then you click on it, so then it shows on the screen if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And then don't forget to go back to the comments.
Yeah.
Side so you can see comments if you want. Oh, Pamela Bachelor here.
So should we give this a shot? I don't know if I'm repeating myself or if I'm telling people I pulled out the 5 decks I created, and this was for me kind of a test my card session. Because like I said, I'm not that much of a reader generally live for people, but I'm going to go a deck at a time and see how they work. And I'm thrilled to have Jane here to give her ideas or opinions about what I see in the cards or what she sees in the cards. She'll say what she sees in my cards. I'll say if I see anything in her cards. We're going to have a little interaction here, if that's cool.
A little back and forth, if you will.
Yeah.
A little chit, a little chat. That's what I saw in there. Chit chat. Okay.
Yeah. So I should start shuffling.
I'm so close to Karen. I just love her to death. So I got to remove my ego. Spirit, Karen, you understand.
What's that little tool you're using there?
I'm smudging, and I thought I would smudge my third eye.
Was it kind of like a chapstick of sage or something, or what? Or oil?
Yes,
or what?
Yeah. It's an oil. I love it. It smells wonderful. It's coconut oil. I have a bunch of like these little flavored. They smell yummy. I have one that if I need to wake up in the morning, it smells like peppermint. But anyway.
Okay, so I am first question. I'm using my Open Face Tarot, and this comes in a sales pitch. I hate doing sales pitches, but it's on MPC, makeplayingcards.com. It comes in a number of sizes, and I think even it might be a plastic version. So I have a couple sizes of it, and I have a couple cardstocks, and some have keywords on them and some don't. And I actually like the ones that aren't on there, because even if you don't read tarot, then you can use it as an oracle deck. So it's not telling you specifically what to do or what to think about it with a keyword on it. So that's where I'm starting today. And this is the first deck I created. It took me 4 hours, and I'm the most pleased with this of any deck I created. It was spontaneous. The inspiration came all at once one Sunday. It took me 4 hours, and I feel almost like I can't take credit for it, like it was channeled through me somehow or something. And that's why I love some of the cards, and some of the cards I'm not happy with. But instead of changing them or trying to make them perfect, I got the feeling like, hey, we're sending you this information. Just leave it alone. Let it be, So even the cards, I think I look at and I think I cringe. I think, oh, I could have drawn that better. Or, oh, that's not so good. It still conveys something, you know. And I think it was just important to have it complete and done and see what comes out of it. So
Yeah, and I love that. I love it so much that that it's so non-binary and so simple, and I don't have the words on mine, so I was getting the cards wrong for a minute, but it worked.
it works either way. Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of times people get the High Priestess and the Star card or the Moon card mixed up or something. And I'm thinking, it's okay. Whatever, you know, you connect with at the moment, that's the detail that clicks. So that's fine.
I get the High Priestess and the Hierophant.
Okay.
Think, Gerald, you know what I do. Which two, if you're still here, which two do I get confused all the time?
I think they both have the two pillars, but I think also, well, no, it's not exactly the same pillar in the moon, uh, but then there's a moon in that one and a moon in the moon card too. I get those mixed up sometimes.
Well, when we get to it, I'll tell you exactly which are
Yeah.
the two that, because I'll know right away.
And I'm curious, actually, here's a question for you. Sorry, Karen, be patient with us. We're getting there. We're shuffling. On the image on mine, I know what you mean by non-binary. That was kind of intentional, and I don't know where the image came from. It wasn't meant to be either male or female, and some may say not even human. It's not a specific race or anything. It's white, but it's only white because it's on a white card, and it's just an outline, a squiggle. But some people say, oh, it's a ghost, and some say it's an alien, and some say it's a baby. And so it's like, do any of those connect with you, or is it just a something or a nothing? I don't know.
I think it is whatever you want it to be, because I will, there's the one that this isn't that card, but there's one that has this on the front and on the back. So there's one card, it's sort of an extra card, and it's just the open face tarot. And to me, when I get this card for people, and this is not the card, this is actually the devil, but when I get this card for somebody, I always say, you know what, this is about you.
Mhm.
And whatever the circumstances is, you choose yourself. So that's always, or this is confirming something that they have said. So I love that about the cards too. I love that extra one.
I probably shouldn't give away my secrets, but that card is actually a happy accident. I knew it was going to be the card back design, and it was my first stab at working with the MPC templates. And somehow I miscounted the cards and had an extra card. And I thought, I don't have any more images. What am I going to put on the back of that last card? I thought, oh, I'm going to put the front on the back too, because for me, it looks kind of like a hanging question mark in the sky, kind of. And on the ones that have words on them, that one has a question mark under it instead of a word.
You know what? But where's that one? Oh, go
But
on.
since it's called the open face tarot, my whole idea of this figure that goes through all these cards is a questioner. It's perfect for Jane the Seeker, because it's a seeker. It's somebody who is in awe of the universe, and it's sort of like eyes wide, mouth open, like, oh my God, it's like they want to know and they're looking, So yeah, it's the self card, but it could be however you relate to that wonder and awe of things you don't know and want to know.
Yeah, it's like you listen to my prayer in the morning or something. I always say, keep me in wonder and amazement. You just said wonder and awe. So, but yes, I know High Priestess, tarot stash. What's the other one? Is it the Hierophant that I get confused with the High Priestess? That's the question. At a conference, it was highly put it down at
Who is he? Who is Miss Tarot talking about? I wonder.
Oh, Jane, it's
Oh, Jane, probably. Oh,
me
Jane.
and Lisa read for it in the spirit said that I would need to get away to a wooded area, and you had a card
Oh, yeah. Okay.
that showed a fire. Oh, interesting. Well, thank you for that, Miss Tarot
Yeah.
D. I know exactly the card you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hierophant, Gerald. Yes. I get the Hierophant and the High Priestess
Yeah.
confused. But that's okay.
Okay. Well, we're both probably working with different decks and maybe even different numbers of cards. When I've seen Jane work, she usually pulls one card and maybe one card from a couple different decks, like an oracle and a tarot. I don't know. But I generally, first of all, I generally don't do yes or no answers. And I generally pull 3 cards. So that's what I'm going to do to
Okay.
this question. You can do what you want to do, and I'm curious to see how these work for us. Now, how to display them. I do have a little rack here.
Oh, I need one of those. Okay.
So I have, can't do this backwards. I have the moon, the sun, oh, that's interesting, and the temperance card. And it's funny, generally when I get 3 cards, for me, the way I generally read, but not strictly, is that the card in the center is the center of the issue or the querent or the problem or whatever. And then what's surrounding that is the other cards. But I don't always go that way. Sometimes one of them jumps out at me like that seems like the more important card somehow. So I'm sorry, I can't look at them backwards. I have to look at them forward for a minute. And the question is, will I do well as a quantum healing hypnotherapist? Oh, well, it's interesting that we have the moon and the sun, which are like opposite, night and day. And then we have the temperance, which is balancing those things. So I think all of them seem to have this element of balancing your energy. So if you're a quantum healing hypnotherapist, it's being open to. I love this idea of hypnotherapy. I've actually been reading a lot of Dolores Cannon books lately. I don't know if you're familiar with her or people are. She's no longer with us, but for 30 some years, she did hypnotherapy and to past life readings. But then they started to get into like alien encounters and things from beings from different planets. It's totally fascinating. So I think part of it is being open to what comes up in hypnotherapy and not sort of leading the person that you have under hypnosis, but drawing them out and listening more than telling them things. And this seems like a very measured or very balanced sort of not procedure, what do you call it? Activity, where you really need to focus on maintaining balance with your energy, but also in your perspective towards what information you're receiving. I think probably if you can remain sort of in that neutral position or open to whatever you might be hearing in hypnotherapy, I think you probably will do well. Try to keep biases out of it and try to deal with, the unknown or lesser lit and the fully lit energy, of daytime versus nighttime and the unknown. And I don't know if I expressed myself there properly or not. But
You see, she says it's quantum healing hypnotherapist Dolores Cannon's therapy.
okay.
That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, the moon, the feminine and masculine, the sun needed balance. Sure, I can see that. And then with the temperance card there, also too, I take that moon to mean I connect with the moon as intuition.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's also connecting to your intuition. Um, you've kind of got the it is you do have the male and the female energy in that sort of, even though these are very non-binary cards, but I can see that in the mixing, the quantum but I see if I were gonna read it completely different than you would do.
Hmm.
I would see you are connected to your intuition. You use your intuition, and it is what brings you joy.
Yeah.
And it is the combining of it's the quantum healing that you've got the healer. The temperance is the healer card. So that's telling me using your intuition, you find your joy as a healer. Just to read it like that.
Yeah, and to follow up on what you said, this idea about the moon being intuition, and in the dark, we look at these figures just sitting there, basically not doing anything in the dark, and there's a path down the middle leading to the lightest area. And then in the next card, we have somebody coming out into the full light. So, as a therapist, using intuition to find those elements in the dark and bring them out into the daylight. And you're blending that intuition and those ideas in order to make something new out of that manner of working. The temperance is sort of a blender too, blending the rational perhaps with the irrational, or the conscious with the subconscious. I'd say that in general, this is a pretty good spread for her question, that I think that it indicates that she will do very well as a quantum healing hypnotherapist.
Yeah. I mean, and I know I'm not using your cards, but I used some of your cards, and I used some of the others cards, and I also used my pendulum. I got a yes with the pendulum for entertainment purposes only, YouTube.
Do you want to share your cards that you drew for them?
I'm just gonna say I used my little I got so here we go, the page of cups. So doing that thing, studying, learning that which you love, and getting into the emotions of it, and the seven of um wands here, taking action, being in a position of advantage, but also, and being ready for it all. These things are coming at you, but you're getting ready for it. And then it at the very end, whoops, if I just do three cards, it's the ace of cups, doing what you love. And then I pulled one of the open face, and I got the high priestess. The card we were speaking of. So I was kind of laughing when you were doing your cards and I was pulling these. I was like, oh, wouldn't you know it? I got the high priestess. So yeah, you're using your wisdom and secrets. And you know what? Be proud of yourself and judge yourself fairly. They're not like shunning away from judgment. They're not going, no, no, no. They're like, I welcome it, and give yourself a big pat on the back. That's what that card says to me.
Mm-hmm. I had a little bit of a flaw when I drew the high priestess. I always sort of joke about that. Like, there she is holding her roll of toilet paper unfurling there. It's meant to be a scroll. It's really badly drawn. And the sphere in her hand is meant to be a crystal ball. But I don't know if anybody ever knows about that. But I still think it generally conveys that it's the high priestess.
Just accept what is, and I think that you have a nice little deck here, and you shouldn't. You don't have to be all apologetic about it.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Now, I have a feeling, I should undo her thing. Let's see, where is it now? How do I get back to the...
Right. I didn't know he had created 5 decks either. I will, in the very near future, own 3 of them.
I'm going to go next to... I'm going to ask people if they have a question. Please put it in capitals, because one of the hardest thing about doing readings, I think, online is finding people to ask questions. I mean, that's been my experience, maybe because I don't have a channel where I generally do readings. So people are used to seeing channels where people do readings and they come to them with questions. But I ask my people very rarely for questions. They're not used to it. And then I'm sitting there waiting and nobody's got anything to ask.
Or
So
maybe you go on when 20 other people are on.
yeah,
I'm teasing.
so anybody in the chat room, please don't hesitate to ask a question. In fact, you will help us by asking a question, even if it's not one you care that much about, or it may not even be a real question. You can test us. I'm testing cards tonight. So the next one I'm going to do is for my Open Face Tarot Ghosted Edition. This is the dark side of the deck, because some people complained when I first did mine, oh, I don't like black and white decks with it's all in white. I like colors, or I like darker decks. And it's like, I had people requesting a dark version. So I thought, all right, just reverse it out and see what happens. I still like the original one better, but some people prefer this. And I think it does something different to the energy, having black backgrounds and white foreground. Reminds me of like grade school, chalkboards and white messages on chalkboards.
Hmm.
Have
Yeah.
we got questions?
There's a question.
There we go. Star.
And there's Gerald too.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I went wrong.
No.
Sorry, Gerald. I'm gonna get back to you. It jumped when I was trying to highlight this. So, okay, so we're gonna thank you both, but I'm gonna start with V. And could I ask, what should I be mindful of this month? Yes. Ooh. I'm feeling right away, even before I shuffle and draw my cards, since I'm using this deck, or chose to use this deck, this is a dark month. This is where the time changes, and I've got my black cards, and it's witches and bats and goblins and Halloween and all that stuff. So somehow feels appropriate that I'm using a dark deck for this.
I should go to a dark deck, but
also people are going to say, I only have one 78 card deck. Several of mine are what is horribly termed majors only decks, and I gotta get myself out of calling them that, because it feels like it's dismissive, like they're unworthy. Majors only, So I want to start calling them major arcana decks, because that's what they are. They're not only anything. There's plenty in 22 cards,
Duly noted. And I will, because I use your cards a lot, so now I'll remember to say that. And I should also put down in my channel description decks that I use, and I'll have to put yours on there, because I think it's a worthy deck.
I thank you.
Yes, of course. Well, silly. That's a silly question. Of course. Who would develop a crush on you, Miss Tarot D?
So V says, could I ask, what should I be mindful of this month? And if you pull cards and you want to go first, you can. I'm just automatically jumping in ahead, but maybe I should trade off and let you go first.
Oh, well, you know what? I pulled a card that I have to read on, because I don't know this deck. Since you were going with your darker cards, I wanted to go with a little darker energy. I don't know why.
Do you want me to wait on you, or do you want me to go ahead first?
Go ahead first, because I have no idea what this one means.
Well, I got the Hermit, the High Priestess, and Strength. And immediately what jumped out at me is light in the dark, and it's just because of the cards themselves. It's, you know, white lines on black backgrounds. It's like stuff that happens in the dark or in the night. So what should I be mindful of this month? Sorry, I have to look at them front-wise again. Well, it's interesting that it opens up with the Hermit holding up the lantern in the dark. So lighting your way. Then often I look at cards too, and I read like old, not keywords exactly, but old phrases that are familiar, like lighting my way in the dark. Then we have the High Priestess who's sitting in the dark under the moon. It's not a full moon, it's a sliver of moon, but there's light there. And then we have Strength, and the Strength card looks like somebody a little bit fearful in the dark and trying to find comfort in the companionship of one that's generally pictured as a stronger personality. But in this card, they seem to be more of the protector than, it's weird. It's sort of like the parent of the beast, you know, is the protector. And yet they're the one that looks a little fearful and maybe finds strength in the beast that they're clutching or holding on to or protecting. So, Gina, what does all that mean, or what does all that say? I have to look at the question again. Could I ask, what should I be mindful of this month? I think if there's any element of fear or hesitancy, think about that a little bit. If something might be holding you back because you're afraid to go there, or you don't have quite enough information, you might want to check that out. Well, I always read the High Priestess's study, so you might want to study a little bit more. If there's something that bothers you that you're not quite sure whether to go there or not, get more information on it. Look for some source material that you can go to and learn more about it or find out more about it. So I don't know what you're doing this month, if there's anything in particular you're working on, but I'd say, you know, work with the guidance, the light of guidance. And see, that's funny. Her card backs mine up. There's you get two of the same card, it sort of doubles the strength. So there's this element of strength. We're finding strength, and in the light and the dark, we've got the both sides of it, the light and the dark side of strength. So I'd say, you know, take your lantern, move forward, study, gather more information, and find strength. And these are all things that will be helpful to you in terms of doing whatever you happen to be doing this month. And I don't know if I have more to say about it than that.
Okay. Well, I pulled an angel of emanate. It's called Archangels of Emanation. No, Angelarium, the Oracle of Emanations, and it's sort of a darker angel. I like it because it's a little darker than, you know, folly la 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 type angels. But I got such laugh. I can't pronounce anything, so this is going to be really horrible. But what this angel is about planting seeds that take hold. So I would say what should you be mindful of this month is be mindful of the seeds that you plant. I would be mindful of what let your roots take hold and allow the gaze of this angel to fall on you. It is the season for blossoming. So you're going to, you know, be mindful of your seeds because you're going to be blossoming. What is that? Feedback or something?
I don't know.
Weird. Anyway, and I got the strength too, which Robin got as well. So I think just be strong, and I think it's going to be a powerful month for you.
I like how you pull cards from different decks and somehow make them work together. I'm not used to that process, and it intrigues me. I actually used to have that Angelarium deck, and I found it really creepy. It freaked me out. It scared me because, first of all, I didn't look on them as angels. Almost all the cards are very dark, and they feel to me like gigantic, enormous, kind of monolithic figures hovering over me and very alien-esque. And it really, I don't know, I couldn't work with it. But I sold it to Deanne at Blue Crescent Tarot, and I think she's made good use of it. So I'm glad of that.
I think it's a really nice, I like the energy of it. So I don't know what to say. I don't normally use it on my channel because people don't want to see the scary thing. But if you, if you listen to what they talk about in the Bible, they say that the angels were like huge, you know, and it was a big towering angel, and the any depictions of angels in very, very old things, they're big, these big, huge beings, right? And so I think that's why that deck is, I think it's pretty cool because it depicts the angels as being that.
I think that's what scares me, because in all other angel decks, they have wings or they have, this aura or whatever, but somehow they seem more personable because they look more like us. They're sort of our size, but these ones don't look like us, and they're so huge, and they're in the dark, and it just scares me. I feel like powerless under the enormity and the power of these figures, and it just frightens me. But whatever, I appreciate the deck. It's just something that like overpowered me.
Yeah. Bye, Jackie. Thank you.
Jackie's leaving. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Jackie.
Oh, you want to see the deck again? It's the Angelarium, the Oracle of Emanations, and your particular angel was this one, of which I cannot pronounce, but it's a very big alien looking angel, but he or she or it, but it's oh my gosh, it's a tree. That's what's really cool about this angel. This one is a tree. And there's a bunch of animals down here. It's like in the early creation. And why can't we have been trees? One day I was walking away from a tree and I talked to a tree and I was having a conversation with it. It was in the cemetery, and I walked away. And I thought, oh, I wonder when I'll be a tree again. And I was like, wait, again? Where did that again come from?
I don't know if it was you or someone else I talked to online through chat or whatever that recommended to me this great documentary called Fabulous or Fantastic Fungi or something. It's all much. It's really, anybody out there, it's definitely well worth watching. And I got it on Amazon Prime, and I think it cost me $3 to rent or something. But it's so fascinating. It's like the whole universe is somehow connected through the mycelium network of plants, underground decay and rebirth, and all these electric connections through these filaments that come out of things that grow out of decay. It's fascinating. And I see that with the trees and their roots all interacting with that too.
Yes, all of it. Yes. Hi, Hugger, Teresa. Yeah, but that is an amazing one. Okay, nothing scares me more than the angel in Midnight Mass. Oh yeah. You probably don't want to watch that show. There was a show out called Midnight Mass, and it was pretty freaky. But
I'm gonna show Gerald's question.
oh, yeah.
Now, we're almost at an hour already, so time flew. You don't mind going a little longer, right?
No, not at all. I'm here. I'm good.
So, so the next deck I'm working with or I'm showing is my Eyes Wide Tarot. Again, this is sort of a non-binary deck. I don't know why I do that. I think it was when I created them, I think it was around the time that everybody was talking about diversity and divine masculine versus divine feminine and all that stuff. And I thought, why does everybody feel the need to see themselves in a card, and why can't they see it regardless of what's there already? Because I mean, I look at a High Priestess and I can see myself. I don't have to be female to see myself in the High Priestess card. So, or if it's a particular color or what, I mean, I don't know. So I wanted to make something as generic as I could. And also I learned so much through creating my first deck. I thought, well, I want to make it so that everybody can create their own deck, even if they feel like they don't have any talent, because it's more about organization than it is about artistic ability. And this is basically stick figures on, pop color backgrounds using the simplest program that comes with any Mac computer. It's called Pages, and you can make geometric shapes and layer them over each other and get images out of them. So that's what I did. So let's do Gerald's question, which is, if you want to give reading, tell me about my long holiday weekend before I'm back on Tuesday. Oh, he's away. No. Yes, he's away. Wait a minute. But
No,
how is...
He's probably not doing anything this weekend. Are you taking the week off from the weekend off from readings?
He's doing the thing tomorrow with Miss Tarot D. I thought he'd be doing it from home. I don't know. But anyway, so the question is, if you tell me about my long holiday weekend before I'm back on Tuesday. See, I thought that was last week that he went away, or the week before. But anyway.
What is your question, Gerald? We are not clear. My guides want to know what your question really and truly is. Gerald. Yo, stash.
I'm looking at the bottom here to scrolling. Welcome, Teresa and Pamela, if I didn't say hi before.
Gerald, calling Gerald to aisle 11. Oh, don't overthink it. I'm going away Sunday and Monday. Okay, thank you.
Tell him about his Monday.
Don't overthink it.
Let's see now, how do I switch to that? Oh, switching around. So I'm going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to go and highlight it here if I can find it again. Is it there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your Monday? You're going to have a Monday. That's what I see.
Wait, he said after he gets back on Monday? Because my cards look like a little adventure on vacation. I have the Five of Wands, the Star, and the Knight of Wands. Ooh, 2 wands, creative. So, yeah, this Five of Wands could be like a little walk in the woods. And some having fun by the lake. There's the star. Is it the star? Yeah, it's the star pouring out water into a pond and on the land. And then we've got the knight on a horse there. Maybe you picked a flower and on your walk in the woods or something. I don't know. It feels very nature-y to me for some reason. What did he say? Don't worry. I can't read emoji. I don't know what that means.
Oh, it's just a little heart, it's just little faces. Don't mind those.
And it's tell me, I'm going away Sunday and Monday. Tell him about Monday. Well, I don't know where he's going. He lives in Ohio. I'm assuming he's going to somewhere in Ohio, and I have a feeling that it's somewhere that involves a woodland area. I get all in my cards for some reason, lots of trees, and I doubt he's going to be horseback riding, but one never knows. some mode of travel, transportate. Well, oops, no, I'm reading it backwards here. The Knight card is traveling it's going backwards, but it's going towards this sort of pond and lake and woods. So there is definitely travel in here. Maybe I should start thinking about the names of the cards rather than the visuals there. I do things in layers. Well, I like that it's wands. We've got two of the same color, two wands there, that fiery energy of sort of inspiration and achievement in some manner, and sort of there's a kind of I never quite know how to read the star when they're dumping out water, both in the water and on the land. There's a kind of a shared activity there, but I never quite understand why you would dump water into water. And sometimes it just feels wasteful to me. This little figure kind of looks like they're sort of fascinated by the process of emptying their water out. Okay, there's something. There's a star above, which is usually rather inspirational. The cups are generally something emotional, and dumping them over is sharing, I think. So you're sharing something emotional on a sort of a platform or in a situation of a natural environment. And this could be with others. It could be with your partner. Knight. And Knight is usually moving forward. So it's like moving forward in terms of your inspiration. How many wands have we got? 5. 5 of wands. Now that's usually some sort of little bickering or playful conflict or something. And you see in this one, we've got wands. Half of them are upright and the other half are upside down. So there's this kind of play of, conflict or something rubbing you the wrong way, or going in a different direction than maybe you'd like or prefer. I don't know. I'm just throwing out all these random things I see. So I think this adventure, what did you say? What did you call it? You just said you're going to be away. Oh, I'm just I'm just rambling now over these images. It's I just think that you're having an adventure in nature and sharing it, and there's inspiration involved in it, and sort of some sort of passionate element of creation. So I don't know.
Excuse me, pardon me, sorry.
Oh, he says that's what's perfect for what I have planned. 5 of wands is an exchange of energy, he says. Okay.
Yeah, can I just say what I got?
Yes.
I do. I mean, I want to know, Gerald, are you going to go get married? I feel because, okay, I have the tower, so this is where we go to, but this isn't like a tower of this is a Lenormand tower, higher learning, signing things. And then I get your partner with the ring that you're engaged to. So I get Jeffrey, the ring, then you with the letter, surprising news, or you did it with the letter in the, I don't know, because he's your best friend. Your best friend. and going for a road trip.
Mm.
And it's going to be a good time. That's what I got.
That's interesting. How many cards was that? About 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He says, I wasn't expecting that, but that's not
and look, and then the Hierophant. Here you are. Here's 2 people in front of, not that you would get married by a clergy person, but why wouldn't you? I mean, it really doesn't matter. It can be a Wiccan or whatever it is that you would, or High Priestess, even though it's not the High Priestess card. But are you getting that seriously? Oh no, wouldn't that Jeffrey would kill me? If that was a surprise and I spoiled the surprise. Charlotte. Anyway, it's all in fun. Are you getting married? Call me.
That's a lot of cards, he says.
Yeah, and I could lay them out like this. Let me see. If we did it like this. So the information, I'm missing one. Okay, and then the next one would be, so there's 3 little problems. So if we just read this corner, the learning about some little issues with the fiance, but it's all going to be okay, and it's surrounding a letter, and it is a letter or an email, which brings a different direction of things, or just going on a road trip, man. I don't know. You and no matter what, you and Jeffrey are touching.
Gerald's trying to downplay it. He goes, thank you both. I'm glad I was able to provide a question for you. He's not giving us, he's not telling us whether we were right or not.
Well, I'm sure it's probably wrong. Come on.
And
I don't think
Ms. Tarot D says, Jane, you spoiled the surprise. Gerald and I were planning to run away together on a road trip. The tower is a hotel. Gerald, don't start any rumors.
I was thinking, I mean, the tower does not, it's really of higher learning, but also I was thinking maybe you're going to go visit a castle. That would be really fun. Wait, are you going to, no, you're not going to go to the haunted castle. Somebody else is doing that. But anyway.
See, and I told you earlier that I read Lenormand sort of open. So for me, I read the tower both ways. I read it by Lenormand, which is generally perspective. What I learned was you get better perspective if you climb to the top of the tower and look around. So that, but in the tarot, it's abrupt change. But it could be both or either. They could, depending on how you happen to read that tower. But I don't remember the whole sequence, or I'd give you my spin on that series of cards. But
I'll still have it here, but
I think you were right on there, though, with making all those connections about the wedding and stuff. And I was sort of shocked when the Hierophant popped up from my deck.
And then the Hierophant comes up on your little open face. I'm like, wait a second. They're getting married. But anyway, somebody is at some point. You just wait and see. Somebody somewhere on Sunday or Monday is getting married. I can promise you that.
I have one question left, so we still need 1 or 2 if there's anybody out there that wants to toss a question in. In the meantime, I have Miss Tarot D's question that we're going to next, which is, will Gerald develop a crush on me tomorrow?
I already answered that.
He's already taken, Miss Tarot D. And you are too, I believe. I think,
And
Well,
Miss D, although I'm sure she is a fine woman and she is not a hussy, but she'd probably say, just because I'm on a diet doesn't mean I can't read the menu, honey. Just saying.
so is this a frivolous question? It's my only question
Yes,
I have.
it's a frivolous question.
So shall I take it off and then we'll ask for some others? I don't know.
Well, I mean, aren't frivolous questions questions?
Let's treat it like a real one, maybe from somebody else. So this
Is
is
is there someone?
a random person or a pseudonym, asking the question, will Gerald develop a crush on me tomorrow?
No, that's Miss Tarot D.
So I'm going to put this, see what I'm just going to, like I said, I'm testing my cards. I'm going to see what the cards say. And I'm using this time my Little Lenormand cards, which is interesting because she just used Lenormand. And that's the front of the title card, and those are the backs. And I don't know which one you ordered. There's a mix-up on my listing online. One is supposed to be linen and the other is supposed to be plastic, but I don't know. Somehow I think the plastic one doesn't say plastic in the description, or I don't know. But
I think I would have ordered the linen
okay,
because I much prefer linen. So I'm pretty sure.
they're both really good actually. And plastic sometimes I don't like because it's too slippery. This one's slippery, but this doesn't jump out of your hands like a lot of plastic decks do.
Okay.
And the printing looks really good. The
Okay,
plastic.
well, we can take that down. And Miss Charlotte has a real question.
Okay.
And Jeffrey is home with pizza. Hi, Jeffrey. Yeah, so Miss Charlotte, she wouldn't mind knowing if her appointment for October 18th will be beneficial to you. Well, let's see. Just a little bit hussy.
Okay, I'm finding a lot of people ask yes and no questions. I'm not sure, or kind of. Oh, it does say how beneficial, right? Oh no, if my appointment will be beneficial. Yeah, it's a yes or no.
Yeah, but still, you can get a general yes or a general no out of 3 or 5 card or whatever it is you do.
Okay. Oh, I was going to say when I did my first one in plastic, the colors of the white, black, and white were off slightly. It had a kind of a weird green tinge that I didn't like. But this one, the colors are nice and bright. They came out really well.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope whatever one I got the right one.
No, both of those. I got a copy of linen and plastic on the one you got, and they both look great. So,
And shuffle great and everything?
Yeah, I was really pleased with that.
Okay. All right. Then I won't want my money back.
If you do, you don't come to me, you go to MPC.
Bye, Gerald. Gerald's going to go eat his pizza now.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
I got a flipper and I got strength. So to me, that's a yes, it will be beneficial. But let me.
I pulled 3 cards and I'm going to stop there because, yes, it's absolutely beneficial.
Okay.
I got the ring, the key, and the clover. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, a little bit of luck. The key is the answer, the key to the problem, and there's a ring. So that on both sides, there's sort of benefits in a way. Yeah.
Are you gonna go get acupuncture, Miss Charlotte? Are you gonna go get acupuncture? I'm just wondering. But go on with yours. I'm sorry.
No, I don't have too much to say about it,
Okay,
really.
what's the middle card? You got the ring, and the what is the middle one?
The key.
Oh, the key, the
Yeah.
ring, the key, and the clover. No,
Yeah.
it's not acupuncture. Well, then you're just gonna be like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I would go with the ring and the clover and the key.
I wouldn't discount yours, but it's interesting that it's in conflict with the three that I pulled, that you've got, what is it, Ten of Swords, right?
Right. Well, no, it was the strength came out first. So I take that as a yes. And maybe it's because you've been feeling this is the way you had been feeling. You've been feeling like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, and I just feel like I can do no more.
Yeah, I always read that card as like feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, and but here you are somebody who's really working on it. We got the Eight of Pentacles, so there's a mastery there. It's the working, the working, the working. It's like you may have to, yeah, and the key, absolutely.
I think the key is tied up to your working card, actually.
Yeah, I might be poking at her. Oh, okay. You shouldn't have even said that, Miss Charlotte, because here I came because that just showed up. This is the Five of Swords. So this is the bully. This is they're gonna feel. Do you see how he's got two swords and or three swords or whatever. This is the Five of Swords. And these three people are like, well, he just did all this and then they just threw down their swords and they're like, that's it, I'm done. So this is sort of a bully. So you might be poking, so they might get a little offensive, get on the defense. Let me pull a strength card through that. But you're keeping to the truth. Yeah. Page of Pentacles. I don't want to keep. Wait, let me look at the bottom card. That'd be best. Oh, Ten of Cups. There you go. It's okay. You're going to expose whatever it is that needs to be exposed, and then you're going to run through it with his key and the clover. It's going to be lucky, and here's the happy family. So yeah, there you go. Right underneath there.
There's some sense for me of something being resolved, because you've got a ring. For me, that's kind of like full circle. Like if there's something you've been through and then you go through a lot and you come back to where you started, sort of, in a way. There's some kind of a connection there with that ring or cycle. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means, but if there's some history there. Did she say, where did somebody said dealing with a past defeat? She said, I might be poking fun, or no, I might be poking at hurtful past issues. So there is some history there that she's dealing with.
Yeah, so that's why I saw that.
But she used the word beneficial. Well, if my appointment will be beneficial to me. So that's intriguing. Is it
Bye, Mr. Tarot D.
She says, sounds great. Thank you. That is what I am hoping for, Robin. Oh, so
Okay.
there's something in the past that needs to be healed or dealt with. And I guess that would be beneficial if she can resolve it.
Sorry. Cat accident. Wrong cat had the cat food. So sorry. So sorry.
Everybody's popping in and out. Miss Tarot D has to leave for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was helpful, Miss Charlotte. I hope so. Can we have? I don't know if I ask for one more question or two. I have the mushroom or toadstool tarot deck I want to show for one question. Again, I'm testing these decks out. So, and then I have one I haven't decided to publish yet called the Word Tarot Oracle. It's just a single word on each card. I want to see what that does if we have a question. But
How
So
many? What's the one that's 78 cards?
I did that one with
Oh,
that's
that was that one. Okay, okay.
so what we kind of need two questions. If anybody out there can give us two, or each person.
Oh, there we go. Pat D. How will my Colorado visit in March be?
I'm trying to find how far back is she.
She's at 848, just up just a little bit, just right above Miss Charlotte.
8:48. Oh,
Yeah.
the time I got you.
Up next to it, yeah, 848.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. Okay. All right. So this is a little experiment. This is the newest deck to me, and it's called Toadstool Tarot. It's gonna be my signature channel tarot deck. And I love the shape of these. They're little and they're sort of like they claim to be domino size. They're not domino size. They're sort of domino dimensions. It's kind of like twice as high as it is wide, but they're skinny, tall, skinny little cards, and I love them. But the thing that's a little different about this deck, it's all toadstool, so it's a non-representational tarot deck. So for people that don't like reading pip decks, they may have a little trouble with this. But I've got the names on each of the cards, so just go by the labels if you like. And this is my guidebook. It's a single card that says 22 major arcana, 4 element cards, 4 court cards to combine and use as you see fit. And
Yes.
when I did a reading, sometimes I leave the extra cards out and just read major arcana. But what I did the other day is I drew cards, and if I drew anything other than a major, I'd keep drawing until I got a major, and then add in the other cards into that configuration as a sort of clarifier. So that's what I did.
Good, yeah. I was thinking you could, if you were reading on a person, you could, whatever signifier, you could put in one of those, because what is it? It's 4 court cards, right?
Yeah.
You could put in one of those signifiers,
Mm-hmm.
or 2 if there's 2 people in the reading, and then shuffle and see what's around those 2 cards.
So it's page, knight, queen, king. Would you just use it as a kind of a signifier placeholder, or would you also bring in the element related to their position in the courts when you read it? Like if it's a page, do you ignore that it's a page, it's just representative, or do you bring the page energy to your reading?
Well, I think since you're choosing it as a signifier,
You chose it, right? Okay.
yeah. So, but still, you could, I guess it would also depend too on the energy that's around it. Because what I'm saying is, so in your deck, put whatever that signifier is, put it in there, and then shuffle, 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 thinking about whatever. And then look at the deck, go like this, and find your signifier card and read the card in front of it and the card after it.
Yeah.
Was what I was thinking.
That's what I used to do. I did this thing about a year ago. I called them 3-card selfies. And what I did was, like, I don't know if you saw any of those that I did, but it's like you go through a deck of cards, tarot, and you find the card that you feel most represents you out of the whole deck. You put it in the deck, you shuffle, and then you turn them over and you keep drawing the cards until you find your card, and then you pick the card on either side of it. So you get a 3-card with your card in the middle, and then you see what the energy is surrounding you on both sides, and you can read that as past, future, or just generally the energy around that center card.
Yeah. Hi, Giovanni. Hi, Lisa. All right. You're going to be there a couple of weeks. Okay.
How will my Colorado visit in March be?
In March. Are you going to go skiing?
Oh, very good. So on this new deck, I got the World, the Chariot, the King, and the Magician,
Wow.
which, and the Chariot is the middle card really for me. So Chariot's all about travel. So there's a trip. And World, travel out in the world. There you go. And the King sounds like very positive. How much more positive can you get than a king, top of the heap? So, but since I drew a king, I also felt like I had to draw a major clarifier, and I got the Magician. And that's always great too, because, it sort of indicates that you're the master of the situation and you have all the tools at your command or your control. So you're the one that can make magic happen on this trip. And it's funny, I don't make too much out of these other cards, the Chariot and the World. They just seem to like indicate that you're going and where you're going. You're going away from home out into the world to do something. You're traveling. I mean, they just seem to confirm what you already said. So I don't know how much I can tell you really from this spread, other than the Magician and King seem like the important cards here to me. It's sort of like an element of power and control and good things. So that's all I can tell you, I think.
What's the first card?
This one, that's the World.
The World. And then next to it, I'm so sorry.
Chariot.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't see the name, so you wouldn't know. Well, and also the World in mine is not usually, in the RWS, I see somebody jumping through hoops and out of one area and from one area in out into the wide world, sort of adventure. But in my card, it's a cluster of mushrooms, so it's kind of like around a lot of other people or part of community or something. So,
Oh, yeah.
Maybe making new friendships or relationships or reconnecting with family or a group of people. It all looks very good. I don't see any issues there, but
All right. So you're going for 2 weeks. I get the World. Wait, I'm sorry. The Wheel of Fortune. You got the World. I get the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. The wheel can bring you up, can bring you down, but it's the cards around it that determine whether you're on the upswing or on the downswing or whatever is going on. And what was next to it was the Five of Pentacles, so it's sort of being like out in the cold. So I wanted to clarify that, and it was the Knight of Cups. So I just feel like that it's a possibility that there might be sometime within those 2 weeks that you might just feel a little put out, maybe just a little bit, but in the end, it's okay. You got the Ten of Pentacles, which is the family dynasty. So, I don't know if you're going to go visit family, but I feel like if it's family, it's everything is all good. And then this is the star card, correct? Right?
yes.
I don't know that one wrong. So I pulled the major, the star card. So this is going to be a really, really good vacation or time, because and don't ever give up your hopes and dreams, and you're connected to the stars, and you're also you're watering the earth as well as it's just the whole thing, the cosmos, the earth, it's all connected. We are all connected, and don't ever give up your hopes. It'll be okay. I'm just going to say, maybe during this time where you might feel a little put out, just remember, don't give up your hopes, because at the end of it, it's going to be really good. The Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, it's about family and writing. No, it's the Knight of. Did you have the Knight? Did you have the Knight of? No,
No.
Knight of Cups. It's the Knight of Cups, Pat. So, but the end of this is the family dynasty card, the Ten of Pentacles. It's the family dynasty.
That card really bothers me, that 10. I think because it's got a big X in front of it. You know what I mean? There's going through this door, but it's sort of like closed off. And I'm wondering about that, whether that has something to do with conflict in the family or being cut off in some way from some people being separated from others somehow, or I don't know. You got a very positive vibe out of it, but that X there does something to me, and I'm not sure if you pick up on anything from that or read it in a different way.
You know, I read it. I mean, this is the Morgan Greer, and so I just take everything at Rider Waite
Okay.
base. I don't, and I read more on intuition.
Yeah.
So where I'm feeling the being locked out. Oh, you're getting that from the combination of the Five of Pentacles here, and then moving on to the Ten of Pentacles here is probably what you're seeing too.
Me?
Yeah, and connecting and putting that big X on there, because over here we are feeling a little dejected, a little put out. But I think that the message it's just about love, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
there might be some history of disconnection previously in the family that's resolved by the 10.
Mm-hmm.
There might be remaining feelings over some conflict or situation with the 5, or feeling left out. But now the whole family is on the other side of those flags.
Yeah.
They're not left out in the cold. They're beyond that X, that energy. They've gone through the passage. So that's good.
Yeah, and does this have to do with the patriarch? The patriarch of the family, that because we have the emperor here too, but still I say, you say I hope so, and here's the hope card. We often refer to the star card as the hope card. Don't give up your hopes.
Did you say there was something to do with writing, or she said something about a writing project? Oh wait, what is it? The Knight of Pentacles. Oh, it is about family and writing.
Right.
Is there any wands in your spread? No, right?
No, it's just pentacles and majors. But here on the bottom, I get the Empress. So there's a lot of possibilities on this trip. So I got this is very interesting, because I get the Empress from this one on the bottom of this deck. So here's the star card, and then the Empress. So this is the being pregnant with possibilities. Also, and then I got the Emperor on the bottom of this card. So we got the Emperor and the Empress, which have created the family dynasty too, maybe even. You can read it that way as well. But this is the underlying, this is the subconscious energy, is the Emperor and the Empress. This is the Empress.
I can read that Empress as creation in terms of the writing project.
Okay.
And there was, I forgot what the other card was. There was another one.
And you know what? If that's a writing project, you can look at it as, if this star card, as it's being downloaded and channeled.
Mm-hmm.
A writing project, if that's what it is. It could be being, and also remember what you're connected to, but it can be a channeled message.
I like in that card now, in this context, the energy of the light coming from the star going through the body into the water that's flowing out. So it's sort of like emotions, but also in terms of the recycling muting the energy through the process, transmuting the process. Ugh, I'm stumbling over myself. transmuting the energy of the star's inspiration through the water into some final product. And all those pentacles could be the product, the writing product, you know.
Well, that too, yeah. And there's some emotions there too. So, yeah. Well, good. I wish you the best of time in Colorado, Pat.
What were the numbers on the cups?
Oh, it's the Knight of Cups. So
That's perfect. That's perfect. A Knight of Cups is movement. So, and you can't really write without emotion. So it's like if your emotions are on the move, they're moving, you're delivering them into this writing thing. So yeah, I think that sounds good.
Yeah. Yay. Well, Pat, have a good time. Interesting.
I'm gonna ask for. I think we had one last question, and then we can wrap this up. But I because I want to test this other crazy deck that I don't know.
Oh yeah, the new one.
Okay, so let me see.
So there, Giovanni.
Yeah.
Up there, 903.
Okay. Is it
the podcast? Also starting a design studio. Pick one. No, I'm just joking. I tease.
Recording a podcast in the tarot. Okay. Welcome, Giovanni.
Welcome.
Okay, this is a weird tarot. You know, it's called. I'm not done with this one yet, I don't think, but it's called the Word Oracle Tarot. Word Tarot Oracle.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll name it something else.
What I did was I took the majors, and there are no pictures. I tried to coalesce the idea of the imagery or the card into one key word, which isn't always easy to do, and not easy to come up with a word that can be interpreted different ways or can be appreciated by all people, because different people use different keywords for their cards. But it was a little bit of an experiment. The idea was to create a deck that anybody could use right out of the box. And by the way, there's no box.
Yeah, and there's no box, but yeah. Yeah, and they love words. I love words. So there you go.
So let me see. I just started recording a podcast and also that's the statement. What was the question?
How will they succeed?
Advice on how to succeed in my current project.
Advice on how to succeed. Oh, okay. Advice on how to succeed. Okay.
Oh. Well, okay. The three cards I got are suspension, teach, and equity. Suspension's the Hanged Man. Teach is the Hierophant. And equity is justice, in case anybody wanted to know. But these cards should be enough to tell you what we're looking for. That's why I'm hesitant about this deck. I don't know if they are enough. So, but we're testing it out, right? So suspension tells me maybe not to rush ahead with these projects. Take your time. Or if you're overwhelmed, but you said you've got two things you're doing, maybe put one on the back burner and focus on the other one. Teach, I like, but I can read that two ways. It's either you're doing these things in order to teach other people and spread information, but you might need actually a teacher to teach you some things in order how to pull these things together. I think you said you wanted advice on how to succeed with it.
Look, it says, wow, it's an education podcast about beating addictions.
Okay. And then my third card was equity or justice. Well, equity is finding sort of fairness and in some ways it's a little like a judgment card, but it's not quite the same. It's also a little like a balance card too. So I don't know much about this podcast you're doing, but wait, where's the point again? The education podcast about beating addictions. I guess my advice on the equity card is be open, be honest, be fair, maintain balance. Now, if you do a podcast in general, some people do them where it's very opinionated and one-sided. You can do that, but I don't know that that's going to be a very successful podcast. In these times, it could be. But I would say you would have better luck and a bigger following if you're more sort of fair and friendly and honest and open to the people that you're dealing with in the podcast and the subjects that you're dealing with. You need to be very equitable in how you express yourself about these things. And that will work to your advantage, I think. So, I don't know.
And the other one was there was a podcast and
what
was the other
design studio. Podcast and design studio.
And design studio. Okay.
Well, there's the possibility that they're interrelated somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Are you doing things in the design studio that play into the podcast in some way? Maybe there needs to be a little bit of a give and take or a balance there, or some interaction between the two. I don't know.
I don't know. But what I have is it's doing what you love. You know, that this is the signifier. So both of these things you love doing. And the Page of Rods would be about about the learning of the about all of that energy, that creative energy, which could be the design studio. I feel like it's possible that the podcast is more your first love and the design studio might be your second one. I'm not sure. They're not related. That's okay. And the thing is I feel like what's crowning you is you don't have clarity. It's like there's hidden things, but the clarity is starting to come out of the water. So there is hidden things. And I would just say go more towards that which you love. And because it's what you're connected to. In the Lover's card for me is what we are connected to. So do what you love and what you are connected to. Yeah. So, because if you don't do what you love, you will feel just stressed out. You'll worry too much. So don't worry. Because, and on the bottom, it's just you want to do what you love. The Lovers again. So we got a double Lovers card here. So do that which you love the most and that are connected to, too. So
he seems pleased.
well, good.
Okay, folks. We went on so much longer than I thought we were going to tonight. But thank you. Thanks to everybody that is here. Yeah, I can't find the thing to shut it off. Oh, wait, here.
It says hi. Yeah, follow your bliss, Miss Charlotte. Yes, follow your bliss.
So this was fun, and I want to thank Jane for being here and helping me out tonight and sharing her thoughts and getting to know her better. And we might do it again in a couple weeks when the deck she ordered of mine and show up, just to see if she's discovered anything new by working with them. But yeah, I appreciate everybody giving me the chance to try out each of these decks on a reading. I don't know. It's funny when you learn all these systems, I'm not really sure how much different it is from deck to deck. I mean, you always have the system to fall back on, really, no matter what's in the deck. So I guess, was there any question that none of any of them wouldn't work?
No, I think you and you use Lenormand, like you use it more of an oracle than
Mhm.
in the traditional Lenormand way, or Lenormand, or however the heck you say it. But so I don't think it really. I think you can do that with anything.
Yeah, it's funny, when I started to try and learn tarot way back when, I off and on for about 10 years, I kept coming back to the deck and not putting it back in the box, because the little white book told me what to do and it didn't work with what I was doing. And then I read somewhere, I think it was one little quote in the A.E. White book, that said that the tarot is all images, or it's all symbols or something. I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to go from that and see what I see in the symbols, and then throw the little white book away. And so that's what I found out, that worked. I did pick up little bits of information from observing other people, but yeah, it really is just kind of relating to pictures in a way. So well, that works for me anyway.
Yeah,
And
and Miss Charlotte wants to know: do you prefer certain types of questions, Robin? So
oh, I like questions that actually have more details. Like if it's a specific thing, give me a little bit more to go on.
mm,
Don't make them too general or generic. Don't make them yes or no questions. And I'm not really big on predictive questions, like will I marry so and so, or uh, uh, or
what? You're not a fortune teller?
no, I'm not a fortune teller. No, no.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
I I I tend to feel more like, not a therapist exactly. What's the word I'm looking for? Like when corporate people ask someone to come in, a consultant. I
Ah,
feel like I'm an image consultant, I guess. That sounds wrong though. I'm not consulting about your image. I'm looking at pictures in the cards and seeing if in some way they can provide some kind of guidance or direction, because that's the way I read them for me.
yeah.
So I'm not really telling you what to do, but generally they tell me what's the most advantageous to me way of proceeding. It's like, water doesn't run uphill generally. You just follow the stream downhill. So it's like there seems to be some sort of method to the madness of tarot cards.
Yeah, Giovanni says mediator, maybe?
Mm.
Mediator? He's a tech creator, though, I know that.
But
So,
it's tricky doing this online too, because it's a question. And I really like it when, like, if I were reading for you, and like you did earlier, you asked someone, you said to Gerald, it's about a marriage or something. It's like a wedding, or you asked somebody if they were getting acupuncture. And I
yeah,
like that when you pick up on something and then you can ask someone and they'll say, no, not really. Or, oh, yes. They'll feed you something else that expands on where to go with the reading. But if you don't know, it's a little bit harder to suss that out. And when you have it in chat, it's not a quick back and forth with the answers. So it's a little tricky.
yeah, not with StreamYard. I think it is with when you're just on YouTube, but you can't have a guest or anything. But you
Yeah.
can, and you can pin comments, but you can't star them. But I mean, if you ever wanted to go on by yourself one day, you were like, well, I got my deck, so I might just go on. You could just hit go live and
Hmm.
see who shows up and do it too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, guides assistance. assistant. That's what you are. You're a guide's assistant. You channel the guides and you put words on cards. I like that.
Okay, I guess we're going to let everybody go tonight. Have a great weekend, everybody, and see you all soon.